Very good evening to the distinguished speakers on dais and the distinguished delegates. At the outset, I must express my inability. Actually, I was not supposed to deliver any speech. All on a sudden, I was called upon. So, actually, I feel privileged to talk from this stage on the main mantra of e-governance. For the last 5-6 years, maybe 10 years, we have been speaking a lot about e-governance. E-governance, e-governance, and e-governance. Then what is great about this e-governance? It's not that we are not doing any E for the previous years. We are doing lot of computerization, lot of applications. NIC are doing lot of application softwares. Then why are we talking about this e-governance and all these things? This e-governance, to me, it derives its foundation from the emancipatory principles as enshrined in our Constitution. It speaks of freedom of the delivery mechanism from the bureaucratic shackles and the red tapeism. The red tapeism and the bureaucratic shackles, it only controls, it never decontrols. It may not sound palatable to the bureaucrats like me and the IT secretary sitting over here, but it is the hard reality. And we mean decentralization up to me, not beyond me. Decentralization to most of us is decentralization up to me, but not beyond me. So that is the problem with this sort of thing. So e-governance basically speaks of the freedom of delivery mechanism, the freedom of choice of the citizen, of delivery, channel of delivery, opening of several delivery mechanism, delivery channels to the citizen. And it also speaks of increasing efficiency of the process, not merely computerization of the existing inefficient process. The existing inefficient process, computerization of that, it only adds to more inefficiency. So it is more of service orientation, more of service efficiency, more of service transparency, more of cost efficiency, and very less of E. So it gives more stress on governance and less stress on E, rather on computerization. Previously, lots of computerization initiatives that were taken place laid undue importance on process rather on those for which the processes were carried on. Precisely the citizen. Citizen were relegated to the backstage. Undue emphasis, undue stress were given on the process. So there were plethora of applications, island applications, posing serious challenges for interoperability, integration, and citizen, they are moving from each department, this department to that department, to again another department for services. They are filling the same form, the same particulars for each and every services. There is no consolidated, the same name, father's name, the same particulars for each and every services. There is no consolidation of this thing. So this is the process re-engineering. Previously there was no talk of process re-engineering. So that is why the e-initiatives that were taken place prior to e-governance miserably failed to drive home the right perception about government. The citizens' perception about government was not what it ought to be. Again, the major problem that we are facing by the government is that despite sincere attempts by government machinery at all levels, the desired level of efficiency, the desired outcome could not be attained despite serious efforts. So that is why government was seriously contemplating of how to move out of this situation. So service was given the prime importance, and service was placed at the center stage. Electronic Service Delivery Bill that was passed by this central parliament and it was enacted. It speaks of giving the services through the electronic mode, throwing open the choice to the citizen to avail of services through any mode, either through brick and mortar model or through CSC or through any other way, so that they can avail of the services from at the doorstep of their local residents. The e-district mod and the other MMPs that were actually implemented under the mission mode projects, they also speak of the same thing, the service to the citizen at their doorstep and at the affordable cost, so that the digital divide that is still existent in the country, that can be lessened to a large extent. Having said all this, it is easier said than done. So on one hand, it is our continuous effort, or we will strive towards giving services to the citizen through electronic mode, opening up options to the citizen for availing services through the mode of their like. At the same time, it also opens up serious challenges like technological aspects, integration problems, interoperability problems, the legacy applications that have already been developed. We can, in a country like ours, we cannot simply throw away the applications already developed. So there is a problem of these legacy applications. How do we integrate these legacy applications? All these challenges are newly developed, newly coming up. So in this way, we have to face these challenges, and a forum like this can pave a greater way, a long way in dealing with these challenges, how the new ICT innovations, the ICT policies, the new technologies that can facilitate, that can ease these challenges, so that the target, so that the effort, so that the endeavor of the government to give services to the citizen in a better way, in a transparent way, in an efficient way, and at the same time at an affordable cost, can come into reality. So in this way, I hope, I sincerely believe that this forum will show the light, that and all of us can take home some new initiatives, so that can be leveraged in the days to come. Thank you all.